All right, welcome guys. This is part 2. This has been a very interesting teach me. Like if you lot, oh man, you lot watch the first one. This one is gonna be even more interesting because we're gonna be talking about. So we're pretty much done with the multi throws, right? Would you say, or is there more? Do you reckon we need to know?
We talk about the basic stuff, in my opinion. There's a lot. There's more about it. There's more Okiseme option and something like that, but it's not really important. So that would be all for multi throws.
Okay, cool. So we got three things that we want to talk about. So we got to talk about wall pressure, throw buffers, and how to fight against. I think the first thing we should talk about right now, before we get into wall pressure, is talk about his throw buffers. What moves do you use to buffer his moves?
Okay, so I think the first thing I was mentioning in his key moves was his 1-2 and his 1-1. And here I told, okay, like as King has this third extension, the opponent is gonna hesitate most of the time because they don't wanna eat it in counter hit. So here after 1-2 is one of the best situations to go for a buffer. And how do you buffer his throws? So between the recovery frames of your input and the so you do 1-2 here, and between the character is recovering from this move, you do the input of any throw. So here I'm using forward, half circle forward for a giant swing.
Yeah, look at the inputs and you can see it. Yeah. That's
yeah. So you are inputting the directions of the throw after you are really doing the throw. So this is just like buffer. This is what we call by buffer. So we are inputting the directions of the command throw in the recovery frames of your previous moves. For example, with down forward 2, as you see, I'm doing the whole sequence even after the down forward 2 is ends the recovery frame. So it's like a shortcut, and this makes it possible for the throws to come out as fast as possible. Because if you are on neutral here and I do giant swing, there's no way that this throw is gonna come out at 10 frames because I have to do the whole sequence, forward, half circle, forward. So buffering is the best way to speed up your throws.
Okay, so what other things?
You can, so you can set up your throws like out of any move actually, because King has but the most important ones are, for example, strings that has moves that have an string, for example forward 2, because when you do the first move of the string, the opponent is gonna look for the next move, so they are gonna hesitate a little bit here. So if I'm at the wall, for example, and I do forward 2, the opponent is gonna either try to duck the high extension or stay still because they wanna wait for you to end the string. So here after forward 2 you can set up your throws pretty easily, and it's one of the classic one, for example. Also down for 1 is really good, and this leaves you at -1, and if you do here a giant swing, there's like almost interruptible throw. Also down forward 2, even on hit and on block, because I told you before, down forward 2 has a high string, and the opponent is gonna look for it. So if you do down forward 2 and check that it's on block, you can go for a throw. And if the opponent tries to duck for the high and do a while standing 4, for example, to to cover both options, if I do, for example, try this, down forward 2 and giant swing, and I'll try to pay again. So right there I'm trying to duck for the end of the string and doing while standing 4 to interrupt you, but giant swing comes faster. So that's one of the key points of buffering your throws in some strings.
Okay. So what other things? What other, so like I know there's you've told 1 2 1 down forward 1, but what other moves can you do like to buffer it up into the throws?
For example, as I mentioned earlier, forward 1 on block, you can buffer here a throw, and if the opponent is going forward to realign for your movement and such, it can connect on counter hit, and it's really important to try to use your throws when you are on minus and when you expect that your opponent is gonna press something, because if the opponent is pressing other buttons, it's less likely that they are gonna break it, because if you are on offense and you have an opponent waiting for your throws and watching exclusively your character hands, they're gonna almost break it every time. So you wanna look for new ideas of how to set up your throw. So, and for examples, on minus frame, like -5, for example, after while standing 4, it's really common that your opponent goes forward and try to pressure you, because it's -6, but in this situation the pushback is really nice for this setup. If you do here a giant swing or tombstone, for example, it's really common that your opponent is gonna go into your throw, because if they are, for example,
What's that?
I'm gonna do while standing 4, and you do grab for this 1-2, for example.
Oh, do grab? Oh, second. What do
No,
we
do 1-2.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I do this. Well, you have to block while standing.
Block it. Okay, go on. You there? I feel like I've lost connection. I can't hear you. Oh, there
Yeah, we lost connection.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so wait, go.
Oh, whoa. Do it again.
Wait. This works sometimes. Maybe as I told earlier, king jabs. King jabs have a lot of range, and this doesn't work against it. But for example, here after while standing 4 on block, because of the space you create here, if people is trying to retaliate with jabs or with any quick move, they are gonna miss the first part of the string, and your throw is gonna interrupt them. So this is like any other setup that.
Let me try 2-1. Because 2-1 has less range. Oh damn.
Okay, there's some character that.
Okay, I believe you though. Anyways, I believe you.
Yeah, and earlier I told you about this. Forward 2. There are some situations where you feel that your opponent is not gonna swing straight forward, and they try to realign with your movement, and in this situation you can go for throws and try to counter them.
Okay.
And if you wanna set up after plus frame, you have this move, which is really, even on block you can go for a throw here.
Nice.
Because it's +3.
Oh, it's +3 on block. Whoa! I didn't know. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I told you it's.
You there? You lost connection. You there?
It's only.
Oh, there we go. We're back. I can hear you.
Okay, so this move is really important at the wall because of it. It's +3. You can mix throws here, and as I mentioned earlier, 1+2 up 1+2 is like a wall throw, and is uninterruptible because of the +3.
Yeah.
So here at the wall, your opponent is not gonna is expecting your throws. So here you can go for a giant swing, and I guarantee you that they are not gonna break. They are more scared about the 1+2 throw in this situation.
What about if they duck? What about if they're really playing risky and they duck in a situation? You got low, crouch grabs, right?
Yeah, if you are using crouch dash, you are using crouch grabs and they are ducking, you usually go for either wall standing 4 if you don't wanna risk too much, or wall standing 1+2.
Okay.
And this is your main starter out of crouch dash, and this is your strongest miss.
While standing 1+2 is only, I just see that it's only -10, and we didn't talk about that in the key moves.
Yeah, because we didn't talk about crouch dash in key move, because I don't consider crouch dash a key move. It's like
Mix up
part of his game plan. So
yeah, no, it makes sense. All right, cool. So
yeah, and even though if you consider the crouch dash mix up, you are gonna know that king is this move being -10 is no broken, because if you guess if the opponent guess that it's gonna stand, and you go for the throw, the opponent can break the throw. So for the king player, they are left in a situation where if I guess right, I can get no damage.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm guessing right that you're gonna stand, and I go for a throw. But even in this situation, you are still able to break my throw. So that's why I think this particular move is only -10, because they have to balance the damage output of everything.
Okay, cool. All right, so we've got.
Because if you duck here, I get a launcher. But if you stand, if you kept if you stand, and I go for a throw and you break it, there's no damage. So that's why his wall standing one is so safe. But yeah, it can feel like broken at some point, but I don't really think that.
No, it makes sense.
But it's a really good move because of it, and you a lot of the time see king players use it in this situation, and with a lot of success.
Okay, cool. So we're going to talk through wall pressure, and then after that we're going to talk about how to fight against him. So earlier on you wanted to discuss about his wall pressure. So tell me a bit about his wall pressure that you wanted to talk about now.
Yeah, okay. So his wall pressure, I mean, I was mentioning his wall game because I don't think he has like wall pressure like Brian or Dragunov and characters like that with a lot of with good lows to annoy you. So King, his wall game relies on staying at the perfect range for them to whiff, and you use the forward 2 or forward 4 your mid moves that wall splat. So I'm gonna stay at this range, I'm gonna wait for you to whiff, and if you decide to stay waiting, I can go for a mix up here. And in this situation, King is really good because the 1+2 throw is full combo.
55, yeah. That's basically a wall combo.
Here, that's a full combo. So in this situation, your opponent is respecting you a lot because they know you can get a lot of damage if they whiff something, and you can go forward and initiate your mix up. For example, as you can go for forward 1+2, forward 1+4 out of counters, and you are on plus frames. And here you can start again. See, +3, I can move and try to realign so that you don't escape from the wall. And again, I position myself at the better range for King. and again I go for mixed up, and now I decided to go for the chain grab, which also deals a lot of damage if you don't break it.
Damn.
So that's why I think King has a lot of potential at the wall, because he has nice with punishers, and he has this move which is crazy. If your opponent do something at the wall and get counter hit by it, it's gonna deal a lot of damage, because after season 3 it guarantees the wall bounce, so it's really
my
crazy.
god, bro. Sorry, I didn't even mean to drop. Bro, what type of damage is that?
Yeah, that's the layout push into wall bounce. And you can even go for instant Sunny Wizard.
What? I ain't seen no King player do that. Oh my god. Bro,
That's not even optimal. You can get more damage
than that?
but that's the most spectacular one.
What's the more damage one? I mean, what's the most damage one? I want to see the more damage one. What is that?
Yeah, you can get like 82 or something like that. This does 2 more. Okay, 1 more.
Oh.
But there's not much more damage you can get from here, so you get around 80, which is ridiculous.
Oh my! I can't believe what I'm seeing here. That is ridiculous. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and even after the latest patch, you could do this throw earlier.
Damn.
Which is it's worse in terms of damage, but it was really nice.
It looks stylish. There was one thing I wanted to ask. So like he has what is it? 1 + 2 4? No, 1 + 2 3.
It's
So
1 + 2 1 and 1 + 2 3.
So I see people do 1 + 2 3. Why is that against the wall?
Yeah, because it's safe, and people are scared of the mid one because it wall bounce, and you get, as you saw earlier, 60 damage or something like that. So
Yeah.
at the wall you can use your high here, and it's only -3. So, for example, another setup I usually go for in the open is using this move and doing a throw. For example, Giant Swing. Because this is like a 13 frame Giant Swing. Because you are -3 plus 10, 13 frame move. So if the opponent goes for something slower, you are gonna counter hit them with Giant Swing, and it's gonna be really hard for them to break it. So you can do it at the wall also. And if you wanna play it safe, you can back up.
Okay.
Or sidestep and something like that. But yeah, that's really important at the wall because of the wall bounce change in season 3.
Okay. All right. Cool. So
But you have a lot of safer options with King. You have forward 4 is really important because the opponent always in wall game situation you wanna use homing moves so that they don't get away of the wall.
yeah.
So forward 2 is key. Also, his wall standing 2-2, I really like it to use at the wall because it's kind of confirmable. If you see the opponent crouching a bit, you can finish the string and it's natural combo.
7. Oh,
And it's also a homing. So a lot of the time, for example, if you do something like 1-2 or down forward 2 and duck, and the opponent retaliates with highs, you can go for Walesami 2-2 here, and that's really a common setup also.
Nice. All right. Cool. So here's what we're gonna do. Go on.
Yeah.
You want to explain something else?
No, I was gonna mention again the forward 1 + 2, which is really important because, as I mentioned earlier, it's 0 on block, and at the wall, being 0 with neutral frames, it's ideal situation for King because he has Giant Swing at 10 frames. But
Yes.
this is also the same in open space. So
Okay.
yeah, that could be everything I wanna cover
Okay, cool.
for,
So
for
here's,
Wolverine.
so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the last bit, which is how to fight against King. So this is just basically, I know you're a tournament player as well and stuff like that, so we're not gonna go into too much things, but just explain like certain things on how to deal with, like how to fight against the character.
Okay, so yeah, there's like two main points that I could talk about. So the main problem you could have against him is breaking throws. I guess. So if you have trouble breaking his throws, obviously you're gonna feel it and you're gonna want to duck. So before you start crouching his throws, I could recommend you to prevent him from coming in with his throws and get closer with either pokes. For example, if I'm fighting against your king and I'm scared of your throws, I prefer going for quick meets or quick jabs to prevent you from coming in. So it is better to attack than ducking against the throws, because if you are attacking, you're not only covering his throws but also his spacing and his other moves. So I think this is really more effective. It's a more effective way to deal with his throws. And also, if you want to prevent him from coming in or evading him with side walking, right? Because it's his weakest side. Or backdash is also a good option, because this move here is one of the main approach tool of King, and even though it seems it has decent range, if you backdash at the right time, it's gonna whiff completely. For example, I'm gonna do here 1-2. Let's get off of the wall.
Okay.
Okay, I do 1-2 into 4/4. If you backdash here, it's gonna whiff and like that, and it annoys a lot of King players, because this is one of your main approach tool in the game, and if the opponent is backdashing at the right time or sidestepping right, you're gonna get killed for it, and you need to start thinking.
You there? I think he's saying he needs to start doing mids. Is he there? Hello?
I was saying that if you are afraid of his throw, I recommend you to go for quick pokes and movement, because why is that? Because you can not only fight against the throws, but also his main approach tool. So that's one point I could say with you.
Yeah.
And also that against King, I feel like you can whiff a lot more than against other characters, because King doesn't have a launcher from standing. And for example, if we are playing neutral game,
Yeah. I just remember.
I have to commit to attack in order to have access to his main quick partner set. And whenever I duck, I lose control of the movement. So, for example, it's really common that we are moving around, sidestepping, backdashing, and I crouch, and looking for your moves to come out. And for example, you whiff something, but at the same time I stand up because I cannot stay crouching for 3 seconds. So this problem King has is really important, and that's why I say that you can afford to whiff more against him, because there's no, there's not a lot of risk of getting launched in your weak punishment. King has forward to 1, but it's not the same as a full launcher. For example, if you are playing against a Mishima or Asuka, for example, with his forward 2, you cannot with anything because they have extremely powerful with Punisher, and King in that scenario doesn't. So if I'm coming in and going for throws, if you interrupt me, my way to prevent you from doing that is punishing with back 1-2 every time, and that's not a big problem for you. I think. So that could be one thing. Using movement for evading your throws and using keep out.
Okay, cool. All right, cool, man. Sorry, I was writing down so many. I was writing down.
I can.
I was writing down so many notes about like King. So if people watching this and they see me look down, it's because I'm writing notes. Like there's a lot of notes that I was writing down. Like just certain things he was doing. I really want to learn the character. I've been playing him quite a bit in ranked, and you know a lot of stuff that you were saying was quite inspiring for me to kind of like want to learn new things. So I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, okay, so that's no problem. Thanks to you. And also I want to share another point of fighting against King, which is kind of a misconception, because a lot of people complains about it, and it's his Okizeme.
No.
When, for example, when King leaves you in the ground and you are fighting against his ground throws and his Oki tools, a lot of people say me, okay, so this character is overpowering in terms of Okizeme, but I don't believe it, because if you stay on the ground, which is the safest option in Tekken in general, because a lot of the time we see high level players waiting on the ground before standing up and taking a mix-up. For example, in that situation for King, his main tool that he's on the ground is this kick or this move, which is really slow and you can interrupt and even evade it with a side roll. So most of the time, if you are afraid of his Okizeme and if you are afraid of standing up after his main grabs or attack throws, you can stay on the ground, and the worst thing you can get is a ground throw. But even though if you are decided to stay on the ground, you have to be prepared to try to break it. So in my opinion, if King had a strong mid-hitting move, like for example Asuka forward 2, which hits on the ground really fast and flips over and loops you into more wake ups and things like that, or for example Horan's back 3, if King had something like that, it could be a real threat. But in this aspect, King only has a ground throw which is breakable, and at the worst in the worst case scenario you're gonna get like a 25 damage. So that's one thing a lot of people is complaining about the character, and I really see that it is really well balanced, because if you stay on the ground, most of the time I'm gonna go for a quick move, quick alley kick or quick down 3, and then after that you can stand up and get away with a test roll and you are safe.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's one thing. If you are really afraid of standing up and getting hit by a hop kick or something like that, it is safer to stand on the ground and chill.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you very much for the Teach Me episode. This one has been the longest one, so we got a record. This one was like 1 hour 32, which, don't get me wrong, there's definitely not a problem. I have been so hyped for this one because I wanted to learn a lot of stuff from King, and like I said, I've done my research. I know who you are. I know that you're really, really strong with the character. So I really do appreciate you taking your time out and being on the show. Can you let the people know what your social media is if they follow you? So if you stream, if you got YouTube, if you're on Twitter, let the people know so they can follow you.
Thanks for having me here, and I really appreciate it that you contact me for joining in this episode of Kane.
Yeah.
And if you wanna follow me on social media, I follow a lot of people, of a lot of Tekken scene in Twitter, so you can follow me there as Mario Schrodingre. I know the name is kind of weird, but that's where it is. And that's it. Thanks for joining, and I hope you learn something new about the character. I'm sorry for being too long, I guess.
Don't be sorry, man. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you lot enjoyed this. Remember to subscribe if you lot like this content. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure you go and follow him if you want to learn that King tech, because he is a really talented player, and yeah, you lot should know more about him. But other than that, take it easy, everyone. We're gone. Peace.
Simmer down. Simmer now. Couple kicks to your boat. I'm a winner now. Like Eddie with the feet. I'm a killer now. Simmer down. Simmer now.